Here is a question from one of the viewers called Ritika. She says, I am in love with a guy for last 5 years and dreamt of a life and future ahead with him. I gave him my body, mind and soul only to realize that he did not love me at all. I do not even exist for him. My love for him has gone unrequited. I want to die. I want to commit suicide. What shall I do? Dear Ritika, you have to become strong and bold and roar like a lioness. You cannot allow one single bad episode of your life to ruin your life. Life is more precious than all the treasures of the universe. It was perhaps his bad luck that he could not see the wonderful person that you are. At this moment, I know your heart is bleeding and cursing and is angry with this guy who has jilted you. But remember, the sweetest revenge that you can take on this guy who has jilted you is by becoming the happiest person alive on planet Earth. Just like you cannot help being in love with him, he cannot help being not in love with you. And the only option you have is to move on. Move on to greater aspirations, goals, and possibilities that are waiting to unleash before you. You have to raise your standard, raise your bar, raise your gaze, and look around you to newer possibilities and avenues of good fortune, benefit, and beauty that will open up before you. Perhaps you might find someone amazing, truly wonderful, who will make you forget that your heart was ever broken. And then, all the learnings of trial and error that you went through throughout your journey of life will make you truly cherish and value that person. Come on, Ritika, you have to do us all proud and without allowing anyone to take advantage of your vulnerability or weakness. You have to become healthy soon so that you can really proudly say to yourself that yes, I have won. I have learned how to handle rejection with grace and dignity. Unrequited love. Unrequited love is perhaps a part of our destiny. I like him, he does not like me. Somebody else likes me, I don't like him, I detest him. What is this unrequited love? Today, to talk on unrequited love, we have with us Radhika, who is a student of psychology. She's an educator with Billabong, a writer who's writing a book on unrequited love. Oof, that's too much. And also a counselor with Pune University, whereby she counsels adolescents towards leading a correct life and also towards being saved from estranged relationships. Hi, Radhika.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for calling me. Hi, everyone. I closely watch your show, and I believe, Sarah, that you are an inspiration to many, many people out there.
So, Radhika, tell everyone what is this unrequited love?
So, Sarah, when you look at unrequited love, if I tell you what exactly is it in layman language, so I would say that unrequited love is basically one-sided love. It's you can say that it's one-way traffic, wherein one person loves the other, but the other person would not love them back. And if you look at it, there are five broad categories in unrequited love. The first one being that when you have a crush or when you are infatuated or you love somebody who's a celebrity, right? So that person is someone who is completely out of your league. But what happens is, like what I've observed in adolescents, is that they generally get attracted to movie stars or famous personalities. As a result of which, what happens is that they get so attracted to them that they start dreaming about them, they start thinking about them, and they are in their wonderland. So that is the first kind. So the second kind of unrequited love that we come across is the love between co-workers, right? So now what happens is that you generally tend to spend a lot of time at work. So what happens is that automatically you might tend to get feelings for someone who is a co-worker, but it's not necessary that they have similar feelings for you. And that is when the problem starts. That is where the unrequited love comes. The third type, unrequited love that we come across is when we see somebody passionately, obsessively, aggressively trying to chase someone, right? So what happens is that, for example, person A is obsessively chasing person B, but then person B is not comfortable with that or does not reciprocate the same thing. So that's another example, or that's another broad category of unrequited love. And the last one is when you're not over your ex. We come across the kind of unrequited love wherein, it's like wherein you're not getting over your ex. when you're still in love with your ex. And this happens in case of a bad breakup, or in case wherein you feel that, the things in the past have not been cleared out. That is when, the unrequited love comes.
So, what are the reasons for such unrequited love?
So basically, when you look at unrequited love, there are a lot of reasons that are attached to it. Uh, but you need to understand the first thing that, the person who is kind of, the lover, you can say, that person is somebody who has very low self-esteem, right? And they have this kind of vacuum in their life. And so what they do is that the person who's there with them, or the person who's there in front of them, they consider him or her to be a hero, to be a savior, to be a knight in shining armor, right? While they are the ones that, are constantly, you can say, victimizing themselves, or, they are constantly in distress. Secondly, I would say that what happens is that, in marriages, this is something that is very common. So what happens is that you have been married for a very long time, and ultimately, you and your husband, you'll have been staying together for so long. You'll have been with each other day in and day out. As a result of which, you tend to take each other for granted, and ultimately, you can say, that there is love that's lost. That spark that you had in your life, somewhere that spark begins to flicker. Somewhere that spark starts diminishing. And so what happens is that while the wife, in India we live in a patriarchy society predominantly. So the wife is taking care of the house. She's, taking care of the children, of the needs. She's catering to the needs of the family, you can say. While what the husband does is that the husband is out. The husband looks at the wife, and, he's so used to his wife that, at times there's boredom that creeps in. There's monotony in the relationship, and there's nothing else. And so what he does is ultimately he starts going out. He starts stepping out in search of love, and that leads to something that is a common problem with men, or a common problem, you can say, in marriages rather, which is uh, having one night stands, having flings, or in certain cases even having affairs. But on the other hand, this can also happen in case of women who, in order to kill the boredom, because there's boredom that seeped into their marriage, they are now stepping out, and they're getting involved in other relationships. So that was what was about marriage. But continuing with this point, this was internal. This was within the marriage, the internal factors, that is the man and the woman. But apart from that, there's also the in-laws and the other relatives that, form a major reason for unrequited love. So what happens is that, because of too much interference, because of having an orthodox mindset, because of having a patriarchal mindset, sometimes there are so many conflicts and there are so many issues that crop up that, many of them turn out to be issues that, you literally cannot resolve in a marriage. So due to these issues, which are, they escalate to another level altogether, which leads them to separate their ways. Now, they have separated their ways, but at the same time, one of them, still, in spite of being separated from their partner, still yearns and still craves for that love. But then nothing can be done at that point, because now they have parted their ways, and they had to leave each other because of unresolved differences that happened due to family issues.
Also, I feel there are some people who live in the head. In Urdu, it is called as mazaji love, meaning that, which is not real, but it is just in the head. So there are some people like, writers and artists, or even common people, they build, a world for themselves. They build a euphoric world as an escapism and weave a story in it and start living with that person. So many a times it happens that when they actually, the lover does not actually love them. When the bubble breaks, they realize that actually there was no love, there was no real true love. And then they are in for a rude shock and get into depression.
Exactly, that does happen. And nowadays you can see that, happening with adolescents. So what happens is, like in the earlier points while I spoke about marriage, this is something that I have been observing, right? Because there are adolescents that come to me, and this is one of the major reasons that I see behind unrequited love. So what happens is that, in hope of having a greater lifestyle, or having, a better standard of living, or having greater education, people move out. They move out of their homes, they move out to other states, to other countries, and sometimes even different continents. As a result of which, there is a problem of time zones, and hence they cannot speak to each other. Now, what happens is that, you consider the other person to be like an anchor, right? You're constantly depending on that person for your support. And so you end up, throwing yourself at any person next who's available. So that is the problem that takes place.
Radhika, what solution would you offer to people who are, suffering from unrequited love? They say that the people who have suffered due to agonies of love are able to acquire depth and sensitivity to the feelings of others. The agonies of love are varied and many. So, what solution would you offer to our, viewers who are watching us?
So when you look at unrequited love, now that we've spoken at length about it, so you would realize that there are two people involved. So the first thing that I can say is that one must go and seek professional help, go to a counselor, go to a therapist if need be. Secondly, if you don't feel comfortable with a therapist or a counselor, you can always confide in a close friend or you can confide in family, right? But then at the same time, you must be careful about whom you are sharing your feelings with. You can also go on a vacation, pack your bags, and just move out. Also, what you can do is that you can compose a poem, you can start learning a new instrument, or you can go towards music, right? So you can always deviate your thoughts, convert those negative thoughts into positive. And finally, what you can do is that you can join a voluntary service. Start volunteering. There are so many people in this world who require your love. Go ahead and spread your love to them. As for the ones who are being chased, one important point that I would like to tell you all is that go and confide in someone at the earliest. And if you feel that you are being chased or if you're being harassed or if somebody is troubling you too much, go ahead and seek help from the police. Apart from that, please remember one thing, that you do not owe anything to anyone. You're not answerable to anyone. So please keep that in mind. Also, don't get into that vicious circle of, wherein there is guilt, shame, and obligation involved. You're not obliged to anyone. And once again, you do not owe an explanation to anyone. Also, I would like to add one more point over here, Sarah, that, a lot many times what people do is that they take advantage of the situation. So, for example, if A knows that, B is madly in love with them, they just use them, and you can say that, they exploit them physically, emotionally. So I would like to say that do not do that, because what you are doing is that maybe you're gaining personal satisfaction right now, you're making a bad cause, and you're not cheating anyone but yourself.
So, Radhika, what is that final food for thought that you would like our viewers to take?
First of all, I would like to quote this line that I read. It was quoted by the famous author of the story The Little Prince, in which he says, "Love is not about two people gazing at each other. Love is about two people looking in the same direction." Having said that, I would also like to say that adolescents at this point in time should focus on their character, should focus on their studies, and should focus on maximizing their potential. And why just adolescents? Even adults should focus more on maximizing their inner self. They should focus on working on their inner character, as it's far more vital and pay you rich dividends, which will in turn make you happy and successful in the long run.
Thank you, Radhika, for coming on Sara and inspiring us, giving us valuable insights and inputs. Thank you so much. I hope you come again and again and encourage our viewers. Dear friends, you have to truly ask yourself, what is it that you are seeking in your partner? Is it merely physical, intellectual, or emotional need? Or perhaps it is something more than that. See, please understand that merely fulfillment of the body or the mind or just the norms of the society according to the delusions of the society will never truly make you satisfied, will never truly give you happiness. And sooner or later you will realize that your relationship has become stagnated and is far from being everlasting. Romantic love, as it is to say, is temperamental in nature and never absolute. It is varying in degree and you never know it is changeable. On a deeper level, that is on the level of the spirit, on the spiritual level, you are complete just the way you are. You don't need anyone to complete you. You are complete and absolute on the spiritual level. In fact, the lesser you seek your partner, more attractive you become, more authentic you become. Your inner light begins to shine more brightly. And then you discover your truth. You discover your ultimate truth that you are love itself. You have within you the Godhood or Paramatma within you. And perhaps, who knows, you might discover your higher purpose in life, the higher mission of your life. And when you base your companionship, friendship, or spousal relationship, etc., on this awareness that you are that ultimate truth. You have that godhood, that wisdom, strength, and courage within you. And when you nurture that selfhood within you and also acknowledge and respect the same in your partner, when two such individuals, healthy, strong, independent individuals, enable each other to becoming a healthier and happier and a bigger version of themselves, you are able to extend your love towards an entire family, community, and humanity at large. Your love is able to transcend petty squabbles of daily life and extend to all those who are in contact with you. When you and your partner are able to extend your love towards service of humanity, or contribute to others life, then it's very naturally your inner life on the inner dimension is revitalized. The expansion that you experience on the inner dimension goes on to protect you, protect your relationship, and both you and your partner are able to navigate safely into this world through good as well as bad times. Do subscribe to Sarah, She Is Just Like You. Give us your comments and stay connected and be happy.